me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care.
Well, it's Friday afternoon, and I'm lucky enough that Peter Sawyer, one of the Gilford Middle School principals, sharing his lunch break with me. I appreciate that, Peter.
No problem.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I had a, this all started yesterday when I watched your video and you said, "What makes you happy today?" And today I went for a walk at the Ramsey View Farm yesterday.
That's a great place to walk.
Yeah, it is. Well,
A little buggy right now.
I've been fine. I lather up on the safe stuff, but today I was both praying for God and cursing Him at the same time. So what was supposed to be a 60-minute walk turned into an hour and a half.
It's easy to get a little turned around.
I got turned around big time, and then what made it worse, which was fine because I wasn't in that, because I got an earlier south. It wasn't that much of a hurry, but I had my dog with me, one of my dogs, Shotzi, and I came across what I thought was a wolf off in the distance. I'm like, oh God, and so I'm like, get me out of here. I got more turned around. I'm panicking that the wolf would attack either me or Shotzi, or my dog. And I was leaving when I finally got to the bottom of the blue trail, because I get stuck in that blue trail. The blue trail, I must have done it 3 times. But when I came across somebody coming up, and I said, "Be careful! I saw a wolf." He said, "Wolf or a coyote?" I said, "It looked pretty big to be a coyote." I thought. He said, "No, they can get as big as your dogs." And it was definitely a coyote then. But I was scared, so I was like praying, like, "Don't let it come after me." And then I was like, "Where the heck is this? How do I get out of here?" And I've been on the thing many times. I just got turned around, and
It's funny. I was running last Saturday in Southington, Connecticut.
Yeah.
A pretty urban area, and a coyote ran right in front of me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And didn't bother you at all?
No. Now, 3 times on runs I come across black bear.
Really?
Yes. But they just scampered into the woods.
Yeah.
And
See, normally when I walk to school, I wear my backpack, and it has a little cowbell on it just to keep away the critters. But in the trail, I don't do that because I'm not going to school. I'm just walking with my dog. But I think next time I may even bring the bell or a walking stick to help defend myself.
So how's your family?
Good. She's still working from home now because the councils have extra time at the end of the year to get ready for the schedule for next year. So she's getting ready. Monica's doing that, and she's also preparing. It's like how to create happiness in your life for when students come back because when they come back, it's going to be different.
Yes.
Don't know how it's going to be different yet, but it's going to be different, and kids are going to need, hopefully it's more than a virtual hug, but they're going to how to be happy again, and so she's working on that.
Great. And how's the shampoo business?
Doing okay. We guess they're online,
Yeah.
and
What's the website?
SawyerFarmEssentials.com.
Okay.
And
It's a great product. We use it.
yes, and she's expanded. She and Joe expanding, so she has the shampoo, lip balm, body butter. Joe's now making beeswax candles.
And no plastic involved.
No
That's
plastic
kind of
involved.
One of the purposes.
Correct. Reduce plastic waste. That's what Joe saw a program a year or so ago about how like 500 million tons of plastic bottles are in the ocean each year, and so he said, "What can we do about that?" And it's like, let's get rid of these shampoo bottles, and that's how it all started. Every Tuesday now we're going down to Bedford. The Bedford Farmers Market is now open.
Okay.
So we go down there.
And last Saturday, Monica was in the parking lot here, I think.
Yeah, with Liz.
Emily?
Yeah, with Liz and Emily, and they did very well. You could tell people wanted the product again, but also just to get out.
Yeah,
they missed the farmers market.
Sure. Yeah. Cindy didn't realize it wasn't going to happen. She was really disappointed.
Yeah, because it's like, as Joe Warnick said, it's like a mini Old Home Day every Saturday.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it's. But I understand why the concerns. But I was hoping they would change their mind.
especially being outside.
Right. Yeah, I didn't understand what exactly. I think they wanted people to wear the vendors to wear masks, and some of them didn't want to wear masks. And I get that.
Yeah. Yeah, I try, whenever I go to a store, I wear my mask.
I do too. Yeah.
And no matter whether it's we're running into the gas station or Hannaford's or Lowe's, put the mask on. And, 3 weeks ago at Hannaford's, almost everyone was wearing masks. And I think now it's becoming a political statement not to wear them, and which is kind of sad.
It is sad. I wear them sometimes just so I don't get yelled at because I'm not wearing it. I'm not too concerned about getting sick myself, but I got to watch out for Monica and Joe because they're.
Sure.
But yeah, they're pretty good. At the farmers market in Bedford, I would say 80% to 90% were wearing the masks.
Yeah. In Connecticut, everyone was.
Really?
I didn't see one person in a public place that didn't have a mask on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So what's Joe up to then, besides the shampoo?
So he's making. That's pretty much it. He's making a shampoo.
Okay.
And he's, he got a new dog last fall, Consuelo, a little pug, and that's been a lifesaver.
And how many dogs at the household?
Four.
Four.
2 German Shepherds and 2 pugs.
Yes.
And Consuelo's the newest addition. And he needed a dog. He needed that. That was a lifesaver for him.
And there's so much evidence about dogs being real therapeutic.
Yeah, and the dog adores him, which is nice because that was his concern. Because he remember when he had cancer, when he came to treatment, he always wanted a pug, so we got him Carlos, the pug. But the pug, as well, most of the dogs see me as the alpha, and he didn't. That was his biggest concern, that it's just going to turn into being your dog because that's how it works in the house. But no, this is his dog. I mean,
that's great.
She sleeps with him. If he and I called her, she'd come to him.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, that is great. That is great. Sammy's working.
And where's he working?
Poggers Bay Marina.
Oh, good.
So he's 5 days. 5 days a week.
And I think it's so cool that he's going to community college.
Yes.
I think that is kind of frowned upon by many people.
Yeah.
And it's such a great option.
Yeah. Well, that's starting to turn now because people are tired of coming out of school, $100,000 in debt.
Yeah. CJ did some classwork there, and what he found was some of the students didn't really want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were interested in learning, the classes were small, and the professors gave you so much attention and so much affirmation. It was a positive experience for CJ.
Yeah, it does. You kind of said it. It doesn't matter where you go; it's what you do when you get there, and so you can make any experience work for you if you put in the effort. So Sammy helps us do 2 years there, and 2 years at a 4-year school. We were very pleased to get his final. Did you get those today, by the way? I sent an email.
We probably did.
You probably did. So, but we were very pleased because he finished the year with his career with over 3.0.
Awesome.
And that was because remote learning for him wasn't his thing.
Well, he's very social.
Yeah, it's very social. But he managed to pull through, and he did very well. So we were pleased.
Yep.
Shushu and Max Shushu was going to work at Meadowbrook. That's gone. Max and Joe were going to work at the school, as they always do in the summer. But since school got out so early, they didn't need extra help because they got out. The buildings, the middle school's almost clean now. So they just waiting their time.
Now, would this have been a summer you did a big trip, or was that last?
No, that would have been this trip. So we just canceled that last week.
And where were you going to go?
Austria again was our mainstay, and then we're going to spend about a week in Scotland.
And you were going to do just your family, or were you going to hook up with some others?
We were going to. It was just going to be us. We're going to hook up with the DeFreggers briefly. Herman grew up over in Austria. We're going to visit him at his parents' house. But yeah, the gentleman we stay at, we rent this farm house. It's a farm, and it's beautiful. And Martin is the farmer's name. He's become family to us. He emailed me last week and saying, it doesn't look good for Americans to come over here. And I know that a friend of ours just went to England to visit his girlfriend. He's quarantined for 14 days.
Yeah.
I asked, how long's the trip? 14 days. He wants to see his girlfriend. That's okay. Yeah.
And so you've traveled with, I think, the Hamps?
Yeah, last time we were the Hamps and the Leggetts.
And
we traveled before with the Werners.
Yeah.
Same as to the farm. Yeah, they all love the farm, and it's been ours. We've been there, I think, 5 or 6 times now.
Oh, that's great.
And my parents usually go. My parents weren't going to go this year. They felt they were getting too old for that. So this gives us another year to convince them to
Yeah.
join us, because it's more fun when they come.
I'm sure. I see your mom walking
Yeah.
today on our bike ride
Yeah.
with Brian Mercer. They're over by the lake on
Yeah.
Scenic Drive.
Yeah, for my mom, I think before it was up just to my mom, I think they'd go. But my dad's always worried about, slowing the rest of us down. And it's like, we don't worry about,
Yeah.
I said, and he's probably the greatest guy I know. My father, and my mother's father, the two of them. If you want role models, they're the two guys you want.
Huh. Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. And my dad, I would say the same thing of my
Yeah.
father. So when did your family start Sawyers Dairy Bar?
Dairy bar. So my grandfather, my dad's side obviously, and grandmother started that in 1945, I think it was. My grandfather grew up on the farm where the football field is now.
Okay.
That was Sawyer's farm and Sawyer's Meadow, and they had the dairy cows. And then my grandfather decided, it started off selling, I think, ice cream and hot dogs was how they started.
Huh.
And then it evolved into what is now, the restaurant. And I worked there. It must have been at least 20 or 30 years before we sold it in 2007.
Wow.
Yeah, don't miss it. I miss the free ice cream, but I don't miss.
It's hard.
It's hard work. Yeah, well, yeah, it's hard, especially with I'd be working 70, 80 hours a week. It's hard to do in the summer.
As a kid, yeah.
It's right. It's hard to do when you have a family.
Yep.
And then when I became assistant principal at high school, I told my father, I can't do both anymore. He said, fine, let's sell it. We're done. And it's now 13 years ago. It seems time flies.
Yeah. Well, it seems to be in good hands.
Yeah.
We don't go there often, but we see lots and lots of people there.
I actually went once, the year after we sold it. I got a mint chip ice cream. And then I went last week with some teachers. First time I've ever eaten there. It just seems weird going there. It was, it's weird having to pay money going there. Didn't I do that before? But I just, when I left, it's funny when, like I said, I don't miss it at all. But I remember when we sold it in probably about 13 years ago, almost to the date, I think. And my cousin Pepper agreed to stay on for the rest of the summer to help him out, but he wanted some time off too. So I said, all right, I'll work for you July 4th weekend. That was a mistake, because I remember it was a Sunday night, and Larry was the owner then. I'm not sure if he's the owner there or not, but it's all right. You can lock up, And so I was there alone, and when I left, now this is 2 weeks after we sold it, because initially I had his contact. So when I left, remember getting in the parking lot and I cried all the way home. It was like a part of me died. It really was. It was like I lost. It was really. By the time I got home to Sawmarsh Pond, I was over it and good. But it was really. I did not expect that. It was a gut wrenching.
Well, it was probably a good experience, though.
Yes. Yeah. It was. It has such a part of my identity for my whole life, up until I was 41 years old.
Huh.
41. I was 41 years old when we sold it.
So there must be some discussion about fall in the schools.
Yeah, we're eagerly awaiting getting guidance from the governor and the commissioner. Right now, in this state anyway, it sounds becoming cautiously optimistic. We want kids back in school.
Sure.
We want them back there safely, just like we want the pews filled here again too. Church is a much better place when people are in it, as the school is a much better place when the kids and teachers are in it. So, but when you start thinking about if we have to go back with all these guidelines, 6 feet apart, and that the logistics are nightmarish. But we'll work through that. The goal is to get kids back in school.
Yeah.
Whether it's a couple of days a week or a hybrid, who knows yet?
Yeah.
But I think we'll know more in the next month.
Yeah.
We're going to have to, because we have to start planning.
Yeah. Yeah, and the church council is going to have a meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
And most of the feedback I have gotten has been positive about just being cautious, especially since our population is older.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that maybe we begin by doing a couple things outside. And we could do a modified worship service outside. We could still do the online service for people who didn't want to, risk it. And that might be a kind of a transition phase.
Yeah.
But the thought of mandating 6 feet and masks in the sanctuary, that's still kind of daunting.
It is,
And
yeah.
it wouldn't be, I did an interview yesterday with someone, and I wore a mask while we talked in a warm porch for 20 minutes. And that wasn't a comfortable,
Right.
Yeah,
it's the same at school. Imagine keeping kids apart after they haven't seen each other.
Yeah.
Well, they won't.
Right.
We saw that at
graduation.
At graduation, which was I've got so many positive comments about the high school graduation. I think, of course, they were out, but there was just a nice, more personal ceremony. But they were all out, hugging each other and stuff. And even when we did our 8th grade moving up, again, awesome experience. But not a lot of social distancing. That's tough to ask people to do that when they haven't seen each other in so long.
Exactly.
So you understand that you want to go up there too, and that's the reason why I wear masks a lot in the stores, is because the principal should be a good role model.
Yes. I was surprised. We did a modified Memorial Day parade, and not one person from the town wore a mask.
Really?
I was the only one in the official parade
Yeah.
that had a mask on, and almost everyone who watched, it was a much smaller group than normal, but almost everyone who was watching had a mask on. And here the town leaders are standing shoulder to shoulder, and it doesn't matter to me whether if they knew they were safe, because they're probably tested frequently.
Right.
What kind of example?
Yeah.
Isn't leadership about example?
I didn't know about the parade. I guess
Yeah,
I guess I missed
on the
that.
website it was posted that the parade had been canceled. That was going to be a very small ceremony, so we gathered at the flag outside the church, and then we walked just kind of casually to the cemetery. And there was no long speech, just a prayer and the laying of the wreath and stuff like
Obviously,
that.
there's no band, obviously.
No band.
And that's probably why I never forget it, because being in the school, all right, this is a big deal for the school.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great event.
It's great. It is a very, it's like, it's what makes Gilford great.
Yeah.
These little Old Home Day, that parade, just Americana.
Yes.
Stepping back in time a little bit, which is nice.
Yep. Yeah.
I wish we could stay back there sometimes.
Well, the past wasn't good for everyone.
No, I've been very lucky. So, I've been spoiled as growing up here.
Yes.
And being in the family that I have. I've won the lottery.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel that way too. And in fact, I talk about that in my sermon on Sunday. That was a great little.
All right.
I think I've won the lottery about 6 times.
Yeah.
And that's for me. I love living in Gilford, and one of the real values of the mission trip, which won't take place this year, is that our kids can be exposed to what the rest of the world lives like, and that it isn't all white and affluent, and all of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important in a community that's so lacking diversity.
Right.
And
98%, I think, 99%.
Yeah, and all those, there is poverty in Gilford. It's relatively hidden from many of our families' eyesight.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you work in a school, you wouldn't realize that, because we
Yes.
see that in the schools,
Yeah.
and you see it here.
Yep.
Yeah. Gilford got lunches very busy. The school was very busy delivering lunches this year to families who needed it during this remote learning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't believe I've been so lucky, and it's just by nothing I did.
Yep.
Just luck of the draw.
Well, I appreciate
No
you
problem.
spending your lunch with me.
Yeah.
I hope you have a great weekend, and
I
I look
don't-
forward to seeing you back here in the
I
church.
don't like this heat
Yeah, me neither.
at all.
Me neither.
I liked it during that parade. The first parade we did with the teachers, when it was snowing in May. But I loved it. Like, this is my kind of weather. And then this, but no, thanks for coming. And then,
We lived in Baltimore for 9 years, and the first month we were there, every day was well over 90 and humid as all get out.
Yeah.
It was
that's rough.
It was miserable.
Yeah, that's rough. Yeah. I would not, That's what we like about Austria so much. There is no humidity. There are no mosquitoes.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, great. Thanks so much, Peter.
No problem, Michael.
And say hi to your family.
I will do that.
Excellent.
Very good.
Perfect. Hey, thanks so much.
No problem.